Momming It Up, Take 8. There's a lot of questions about the Sebastian Rogers disappearance. Here's what you can expect to find when you join us on live streams here at Momming It Up.
Woke up before the dawn, she's got her armor on, fighting for those who can't, champion with a loving chant, investigates the hidden truth, with a pen sharp and truth, unlocks doors with every word, injustice never goes unheard. Oh, she's momming it up, with a heart so tough, advocate for every child, makes the world a little more wild.
Over on Momming It Up, we like to do the deep dives. We enjoy hypothesis and process of illumination with investigative journalism through an independent stance. We don't get tunneled. We follow the online case discussions wherever they may lead, and through a process of elimination, we try to have some tact and some taste. As we discuss the case, we will do it from a non-biased standpoint in terms of there is no non-disclosure agreements. I haven't signed any NDAs, I don't have any contracts, and I am coming at this from a very different angle. I really want to discuss it with you and hear what you think as we go over a lot of the statements that haven't gotten as much attention. What do you think about scripting and NDAs and all of this stuff in a missing child's case? Working with creators and networking to get a child's name out there, but is it a little bit too far when you're profiting off the disappearance of a child? There's been a lot of intimidating statements made. It's just really unsettling when you get down to it. So let's go over it. Let me know what you think. Hey everyone, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I figured, this might be a good time for me to come on and just chat with you all about what I think about the Sebastian Rogers case. I've had a lot of people ask me questions. What brings me to trying to have these conversations? What's drawing me to discuss true crime? Where am I going with this channel? What is the outlook that I have for the future? You've seen me in different chat rooms. You've heard my name referenced on different panels with Sebastian Rogers' stepfather and some of their immediate content creating fixers, as I've called them. And I figured, let me come on here and just share with you what I usually refer to as my unasked 2 cents. But since this is my channel, it is actually asked for because you're here to hear it. So let me just explain to you something. I have watched this case unfold with a mixture of disbelief and fascination, and I feel compelled to offer my unsolicited perspective. Consider it my hypothesis, actuated by a glaring red flag. This spectacle playing out on live streams this Sebastian Rogers case is more than a spectacle. And we were warned early on, remember, by TBI and the press conferences about this being a money-making circus, right? So to speak. And let me tell you, the spectacle playing out on live streams has been nothing short of extraordinary. A very chaotic theater broadcasted in real time for all to witness. Individuals, some visibly intoxicated at times, have stumbled through their performances, forgetting to mute their microphones, wandering towards mysterious objects as if drawn by an invisible thread, all while texting one another incessantly. These are what I call fixers in the Sebastian Rogers case. The coordinated meetups that they had from very early on, many of us watched, yet they continued their digital chatter juggling multiple live streams across an array of devices, phones, tablets, you name it. And what emerges is a bizarre convergence, a local gathering that balloons into a grandiose online production, beamed out to the internet with all the subtlety of a circus parade. However, it seems that not only was this a production, so to speak, in terms of the internet and the networking and the channels, but there could very well have been producers, Netflix documentaries, known editors and scripters. People may have managers, contracts, NDAs. Can you believe an NDA and an active Amber Alert? The narrative shifts depending on the platform. We realized that very early on. Usually I'd say, well, actually, I think it's about March 20th. Right around the time that Smiley Story World did the interview, you know, when Chris Proudfoot gave her no time to prepare, just went into another creator that we all have enjoyed, especially myself. I enjoy Clutch Them Pearls, Justin, and told her to abruptly end. He wanted to go live. And that is when I noticed there was something very different happening. There was a big shift amongst us. YouTubers had all come and converged on the local town, blending in with locals who masqueraded as well as creators, investigators, researchers, searchers, just in it for the missing child. Not for clicks, not for views, played strangers to one another, acted like they didn't know the mother or the stepfather or anybody, for that matter. But as time unfolded, it turned into something very different. See, the live streams from the beginning, all the discombobulated mess of hitting live and not knowing how to navigate call-ins and multi-streams and chats, well, that was getting buried and a new narrative was forming. It was getting more organized, more appropriate, they felt, for the masses, more manipulative, more believable, not just profitable. Because you see, as time went on, you found out that the mom and the stepfather were very much involved, as they were trying to make it seem like the dad was the one mastermind behind all of this content creators, creations, and havoc. So what we realized is that the narrative really took another shift around March 20th. And the stepfather went on Smiley Story World and he discussed the scripting and, you know, how you could be in his good graces and how if you make a public apology and he understands, and then he'll do your show, and how unfortunately the dad and the grandma and the aunt, they went in a different direction. Things kind of fell apart. They didn't want to go along with his script, his production, so he says. And, you know, there was a new shift in the air. So as these narrative shifts were depending on the platform and the host, with each every live stream was a chameleon, adapting its character and script to suit the chosen social media stage. And what was truly bewildering is how often these performances falter. The so-called scripts, right, and the skits unravel into a tangled mess. Their inconsistencies so glaring, they'd be comical if the stakes weren't so grave. You see, you hear all the time, it's YouTube, it's YouTube. We don't do real life, it's drama, it's YouTube. It might be funny and humorous and entertaining if it wasn't for the fact that there's an actual 15, now 16-year-old young man with different abilities, with special needs, that is actually missing. And the last known sighting was with the mother, and the stepfather was very involved as well. He may or may not have even been in the local area at the time of this child's disappearance. He may not have been spotted. He may not have told people different stories and different things about it, where he was and what he was doing. So if they weren't so involved, then maybe it would be comical if it wasn't for the reality that this isn't fiction. This is a real life missing child's case with an active Amber Alert, a $50,000 reward issued by FBI, TBI, and they even have over 300 and actually I think it's $447,000 accumulatively, right? Oh, that's the wrong word. Accumulated total reward when you add in Dog the Bounty Hunter and all the resources he has brought forth for information leading to Sebastian's return home or prosecution and arrests of all involved in his disappearance. So then maybe it would have been comical if the stakes weren't that grave, don't you think? So when someone dares to call out this nonsense, such as myself right now, the reaction is swift and volcanic. The characters erupt in a fury, their carefully curated personas crumbling under any scrutiny. These same individuals roam the area, projecting an air of heartfelt concern for a missing child, dueling out they duel out all this supposed inside information. I have sources. I live here. This is my area. And citing unnamed sources with the confidence of seasoned investigators. But in real time, they spin tales that ripple through the community, stories that conveniently align with whatever quote-unquote show is airing that day or even that moment. It's a dizzying blend of improvisation and audacity. And it leaves one questioning, where does the performance end and reality actually begin? This isn't a game. A child is genuinely missing, a fact that should anchor every action in sobriety and purpose. Yet these individuals are neither undercover operatives nor licensed private investigators. They are not even practically skilled actors. They stink at the acting. If it wasn't for how bad they act, I don't think any of us would even have zoned in and even paid any attention. We would have just stopped watching and went on our day and said our prayers for this child, put up flyers for him, and checked every now and then to see the status of his case and see if he was found. But their performances, teetering between amateurish and outright absurd, contracts, non-disclosure agreements, none of that erases the ethical quagmire that they have waded and waded and walked right into. If this is about thrill-seeking or some perverse adrenaline rush, how is this allowed? How has it been allowed to flourish unchecked within an active case? Why don't they just simply walk away? If they're uninvolved, if they are merely all creators, everyone's just a creator chasing clout, what compels them to persist in this reckless charade? Why target the average person, those genuinely invested in this child's disappearance, seeking accurate updates from family, friends, locals, and legitimate searchers, rather than stepping back to let justice run its course? That's what I've asked myself. Even more unsettling is the apparent coordination with key figures. As we have been discussing, it is blatantly clear a stepfather and a mother are prime suspects. Everybody immediate to that child is, or any average person when somebody disappears, right? Isn't this true crime? Do we not have some knowledge? And after a year, you can't tell me you haven't researched. Stepdad being entwined in what feels like a calculated campaign, in my opinion. A defense, a cover-up, a plan, a hoax. It's a thorough social media weaponization. It really appears, because you have these creators that are enlisted to amplify this narrative that vilifies the average person, daring to question the script. See, I was just an average person, just a mom who is local now. I was relocating my family. I have a special needs child that is very similar to what they explained Sebastian Rogers was, with his attributes, his strengths, the special abilities, different abilities. And many have pointed out they even resembled one another. They had some of the same characteristics. I was just a regular mom, just like a lot of people, just an average person asking questions and having concern. Because when it came across the TV screens and you hear autism, you think elopement. Many of us, because I have a little girl with severe, profound autism that elopes, it's horrifying. The risks of drowning, the risks of them running in traffic, something grave and dangerous happening. You lose endless amounts of sleep, worried, making sure the locks are triple locked, the cameras are all in check, that you have everything set up to protect your child and make sure that they cannot get out and run away. When you're in public, you have different types of backpacks and these connectors so that your child can't run off from you and you can protect them. It is a constant state of fight or flight as a parent of a child that has that type of autism attribute. And when you heard of Sebastian, so many of us that have children or know other children, we thought, oh my gosh, this child, we must find him. He's in danger. The worst can happen. And that drawn us in, because that's what you do. You care for our children, our most vulnerable, our elderly, our seniors, our widows, our veterans, our disabled, our special needs. Whatever the phrase is that makes you feel comfortable, whatever you want to call it, we have a heart and we're compelled. And then as time went on, a lot of people got interested in the dynamics because it was just outrageous the way this was all playing out. And I couldn't understand, why was I always attacked? Why was things being manipulated and weaponized, not just on myself and what I was experiencing in real life as well, real weird stuff, right? You saw other people that were going through the same thing, whether it was online, whether it was in chats, no matter what it was, you were immediately attacked, discredited, humiliated, scripted, edited conversations, edited text threads. I mean, just nonsensical smear campaigns for the average person that just cares about a missing child that has an active Amber Alert. It seemed to be a very calculated campaign. And when you find out who's sitting beside these people, it makes you really concerned. It's as though social media was weaponized, with the creators being listed to amplify a narrative that vilifies the average person, like I said, that was daring to question this scripting, because it seems like a script. In fact, you can hear the script being read, where the stepdad talks about the mom and the boy. Many of us tuned in out of the concern for the missing child, Sebastian Rogers. He vanished on February 25th, 2024. That was recently updated after Jennifer Coffindaffer explained that she was corresponding, and it was stated, I'm summarizing, but what she was saying was that it looks like it was an oversight where the 26th of February was put out early on Monday, because it was the last time that the mom, it was the last time the mom called in was the 26th. So according to her, he was missing on the 26th. But when you actually source it, the last time that he was verified was on camera, I believe, at the Texas Roadhouse, Sunday the 25th. So he hadn't been seen that the police could verify since Sunday the 25th. So it was changed to the 25th of February as opposed to Monday the 26th recently. So you're expecting transparency, not a production, right? And there are no disclaimers flashing on screen saying for entertainment only, no warnings that we'd be stumbling into this twisted drama series or this rebranded Crama that people are calling it. Yet here we are, watching these characters voluntarily align themselves with the stepfather and at times the mother. Early on, it was all the biological father, but once it was clear as day that the mother and stepfather were worse behind the scenes and it was all an act and it all came full circle, and you heard that the bio dad was verified being at work, well, there's no reason to talk about him or look into him because he clearly had no involvement. But you see the stepdad, Christopher Proudfoot, and the biological mother, Katie Proudfoot, they were made out to be the most amazing people. They weren't talking to anyone. They weren't scripting anything. All they wanted was law enforcement to help find their son. That's it. They weren't doing anything. And that wasn't true. None of it was true. In fact, we know they sit in courthouses with the creators. They go out to dinner. They were talking to them for hours and hours and hours since very early on. So close to them that a creator, Cluminate, felt that she could just send DoorDash to them and flowers and all kinds of things for Mother's Day and before, it seems, even. But yeah, the mom and stepdad are the focus because of the way that they laid the script with the creators in the beginning. The father seems very cleared. He's the one out there asking for the FBI. He was the one out there shouting and begging for his child, doing every interview he could think of. And that's why the focus remains on the mom and the stepdad, because of their engagement, their behaviors. I mean, at times they were posting comments and going up and launching live streams, tagging agencies, okay? So you had all these creators, these characters, these fixers, right? That were literally tagging TBI, FBI. Their descriptions were brim with urgency, claiming truth and demanding immediate intervention in this active case, pretending that they found evidence and they heard something or they saw something. And Worshams had video of this big secret meetup with the mom and the grandma, and knives and blankets and pants, and all this stuff was found, and law enforcement wouldn't help, and they didn't know what to do, and they're tagging the FBI and tagging TBI and calling out some big mass cover-up. This is what they were doing. Local characters, scriptors, fixers that somehow are all hanging out, talking about NDAs and contracts with a stepdad, a mom. What is going on? They played their roles with gusto, spinning tales of cover-ups or pinning blame on the biological father, delivering rehearsed lines and elaborate acts as if they were reciting first-hand facts, walking around the area, going in and out of stores and schools and woods. It was bizarre, to say it nicely. But when the average person pushes back, refusing to endorse this disgrace, the retaliation is fierce. Dare to withhold your applause, and you will face their wrath. They seem to be all over. There is not two sides, it's one. My side is the missing child. Many of us, that's all we ever cared about. That's all we want to know about. We don't care about the Crama, the drama, none of it. But you're going to find out that if you don't go along with it, you don't applaud it, you don't support it, well, now they're going to send people for you. They're going to harass you. They're going to vet you. They're going to intimidate you for whatever intel that doesn't exist, because you are only here for the missing child. You're not in cahoots with anyone. They have something to hide, and they're all over, and it doesn't make any sense in an active case. This isn't LE. This isn't FBI. This is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. For a local, it is worse. You are thrust into a nightmarish reality, a horror-esque existence where dissent marks you as a target. Some have even been accused of being complicit in the child's disappearance simply for refusing to turn a blind eye or wholeheartedly embrace this madness. I was accused on a live stream of being the suspect. This person was saying, oh yeah, call the TBI on them. And we know that the stepdad is the one that calls the shots. He texts back and forth. Creators like J is for Justice have exposed that. Cluminati, Elevated Truth, who used to be Truth Not Feelings. Many people say that he texts them and calls them. Julie Skulnik just went through it, and they did it to me back in September. The gall of it is staggering. Everyone else is painted as the problem, while all these people cloak themselves in righteous indignation. Right? Oh, you need facts. Facts. You're wrong. This isn't true. That's not true. They talk about the most inappropriate, grotesque things ever. cursing, sexual comments. They label people with the P word. They say unbelievable things, and the smear campaign holds no bounds. I mean, it's unbelievable. So here's what I know. This isn't just YouTube drama. To dismiss it as mere clickbait is to ignore the deeper currents at play. Ask yourself this. If collaborating with a mother and a stepfather in an active missing persons case were solely about views, why does it feel, and why do people seem to admit that it is so orchestrated? Let's not forget Elevated Truths podcast. I think it was, December 20th or something? 17th or something? Where they said that this is all scripted. There's all kinds of stuff behind the scenes, right? So why does it feel so orchestrated? It's because it seems that it is, if we believe them. Because Mr. Proudfoot, the stepfather, hopped on that panel, and I think a lot of that was scripted as well. I think a lot of what he comes on with is fake, if you go back and really pay attention. And it's all been deployed just to, confuse people for a long time, and to send people on rabbit holes that he already knows isn't true, right? And when they're tagging TBI and FBI and Hendersonville, how many hours and hours and hours of law enforcement is put into these lives that have nothing of substance? Just so you don't go back. Don't watch the ones in the beginning. Don't pay attention to what was said before the muting, before they got better. Don't go listen. Don't go look at the dates, because there's even this weird one that was posted on, what was that? Saturday, February 24th. This weird video of a child walking away on Saturday, February 24th. And then they were searching for Sebastian. They were with the creators at Natchez Trace State Park. But don't look at any of that. Just look at all of these. Look over here. Look over here. Listen here. As I pretend to be outraged and mad. And creators just sit there. They support it. They condone it. In fact, how often have we heard them say, you don't really know how Sebastian even was? How often do we hear them say horrible things about the child that disappeared? They insinuate that he was not a good person even. We've heard people like Stephen Proudfoot talk about reading his diary, reading papers, and saying they were unbelievable. They were horrible. It was unreal. They insinuate horrible things that are not true. How low can you go? There's a missing child, and it seems like nobody seems to care. It is so unsettling. It is so sad. So everybody just keeps dismissing it as clickbait, ignoring the deeper currents at play. And I'll continue to ask that you ask yourself, again, if collaborating with a mother and a stepfather in an active missing persons case in this way is okay to you. How can you feel that way? I really want to know in the comments. I really want to hear your thoughts. Why does it persist with such fervor? Why is it persisting with such fervor? Ensnaring so many in this web of lies and deceit and deception. For entertainment? It's just drama? It's just YouTube? What began as a concern for a child has morphed into something far more troubling. A phenomenon that transcends these platforms that it's playing out on. These implications stretch beyond the screen, and the answers, elusive as they are, may only surface with time. I think it is really unsettling what is unfolding by enabling this, supporting this, condoning this. I think in time, there will be a lot of different legalities. I think there's a lot of investigators that have been on this for a long time, and truth will come to light eventually. But that's my spiel, and I wanted to share it with you. I'll be chit-chatting with you all in chat. Thank you so much for stopping by. I did finally monetize the channel. If you'd like to hear more from me and go over all these interviews, especially all the ones that it seems like haven't become very popular, to listen to the key wording, because as you all know, words can be used against you, right? In a court of law, they can be. People can use a lot of these statements and they could be compiled into circumstantial. We never know what's going to happen, but that's why people find it interesting. They don't find it interesting because you're playing law enforcement. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Most of us don't even think the parents at all had anything to do with anything actually foul play-wise, but just have guilty knowledge. But we don't know. Nobody knows, but law enforcement does, I think, and they will be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And charges will be made if necessary, in my opinion, at some point in the near future. However, this is all speculation, hypothesizing. We can use our mind and share thoughts, and it's really educational to learn statement analysis, to go over the key wording, as I always called it, and separate the noise. I mean, people don't hop on live streams and say they broke the internet if they don't want us listening to what they've said. So there's no harm in that. And if you want me to do more of that and go more over the earlier searches and the earlier boots on the ground as well, then feel free to become a member. Feel free to support the channel in any way you want. Send your thanks, because I am now monetized. You know, I was going back and forth for a long time. Should I monetize yet? I don't know. It felt weird because this poor kid's been exploited so much. But actually, you know, monetizing is important because I want to grow my channel and I want to be able to do this more. And if it covers the cost of the StreamYards and things, that was fantastic. And if I could actually make the same money I make with my job, then I'd be here all the time. It'd be so much fun to get to do what you love, right? Then they say you don't work a day in your life, you get to do what you enjoy. So I did monetize, and you know, that'll be the new grifting jokes of everything. But if you want to support the grift, that you can now do so. And we're going to chit chat in the chat. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I look forward to hanging out with you all soon. Stay safe. I know the tornadoes, the weather, it's been unbelievable. Unbelievable. Play some music for us while we talk.
Force of nature, strong and kind. Voice for those who can't speak their mind. Sees the world through a lens so clear. Finds the truth without any fear. Oh, she's warming it up day and night, with a heart that's growing bright. Helping those who need a hand, guiding them to understanding. Counseling hearts so wise and true. In her mind, visions of the new. Sees potential in every soul. Loves her compass, loves her goal. Oh, she's warming it up day and night, with a heart that's growing bright. Helping those who need a hand, guiding them to understanding. Counseling hearts so wise and true. In her mind, visions of the new. Sees potential in every soul. Loves her compass, loves her goal. Oh, she's warming it up day and night, with a heart that's growing bright. Helping those who need a hand, guiding them to understanding. Advocate for every child, lending ears and running wild. Shines a light in the darkest place, fighting battles with mother's grace. Investigate gates with sharpest eyes, exposes truth, no compromise. Holds opinions strong and willful, but gives advice that's ever skillful. Force of nature, strong and kind, voice for those who can't speak their mind. Sees the world through a lens so clear, finds the truth without any fear. Oh, she's warming it up day and night, with a heart that's growing bright, helping those who need a hand, guiding them to understanding. Counseling hearts so wise and true, in her mind visions of the new, sees potential in every soul, loves her compass, loves her goal. Oh, she's warming it up day and night, with a heart that's growing bright, helping those who need a hand, guiding them to understanding. Counseling hearts so wise and true, in her mind visions of the new, sees potential in every soul, loves her compass, loves her goal. Oh, she's warming it up day and night, with a heart that's growing bright, helping those who need a hand, guiding them to understanding. Advocate for every child, lending ears and running wild, shines a light in the darkest place, fighting battles with honest grace. Investigates with sharpest eyes, exposes truth, no compromise. Holds opinions strong and willful, but gives advice that's ever skillful. Oh, she's warming it up day and night, with a heart that's growing bright, helping those who need a hand, guiding them to understand. Force of nature, strong and kind, voice for those who can't speak their mind, sees the world through a lens so clear, finds the truth without any fear. Oh, she's warming it up day and night, with a heart that's growing bright, helping those who need a hand, guiding them to understanding. Counseling hearts so wise and true, in her mind visions of the new, sees potential in every soul, loves her compass, loves her goal. Oh, she's warming it up day and night, with a heart that's growing bright, helping those who need a hand, guiding them to understanding. Counseling hearts so wise and true, in her mind visions of the new, sees potential in every soul, loves her compass, loves her goal. Oh, she's investigates with sharpest eyes, exposes truth, no compromise, holds opinions strong and willful, but gives advice that's ever skillful. Force of nature, strong and kind, voice for those who can't speak their mind, sees the world through a lens so clear, finds the truth without any fear. Oh, she's warming it up day and night, with a heart that's glowing bright, helping those who need a hand, guiding them to understanding, counseling hearts so wise and true. In her mind, visions of the new, sees potential in every soul, loves her compass, loves her goal. Oh, she's warming it up day and night, with a heart that's glowing bright, helping those who need a hand, guiding them to understanding, counseling hearts so wise and true. In her mind, visions of the new, sees potential in every soul, loves her compass, loves her